Channel 5, the most watched television station in Nashville.
Ronald Reagan, the Cold War crusader whose sunny optimism made a nation believe it was morning in America, dies at 93. The nation prepares to honor and remember the 40th President of the United States of America. Good evening. Former President Ronald Reagan died of pneumonia this afternoon at his home in California. His death brings to a close a remarkable life that bridged the worlds of entertainment, politics, and statesmanship. And the word of his passing comes on the very weekend that the United States and its allies are commemorating the 60th anniversary of the D-Day invasion in Normandy. We begin our coverage tonight with correspondent Jerry Bowen in Los Angeles.
Word of Mr. Reagan's rapidly failing health had been rumored for several days, and as reporters stood vigil at the gates of the Reagan home in Los Angeles, it was confirmed the 40th President of the United States had died after a nearly decade-long battle with Alzheimer's disease. At the Reagan Library, visitors mourned and remembered.
He set the country on the right course. I don't think that hasn't been a president before or since that really championed democracy throughout the world the way he did.
It was more than 9 years ago that Mr. Reagan revealed he'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, adding in a handwritten letter, "I only wish there was some way I could spare Nancy from this painful experience." Just last month at a fundraising dinner, Mrs. Reagan spoke of her nearly decade-long anguish.
Ronnie's long journey has finally taken him to a distant place where I can no longer reach him. We can't share the wonderful memories of our 52 years together, and I think that's probably the hardest part.
Mr. Reagan's body will lie in repose at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California, before being flown to Washington to lie in state at the Capitol. After the state funeral at the National Cathedral, Mr. Reagan will make his last journey home to be buried at sunset on the grounds of his Hilltop Library. Tonight, in a printed statement, Nancy Reagan said, "My family and I would like the world to know that President Ronald Reagan has passed away after 10 years of Alzheimer's disease at 93 years of age. We appreciate everyone's prayers." Dan?
Jerry Bowen reporting live from Los Angeles. Thanks. President Bush, who will attend D-Day anniversary ceremonies tomorrow, was in Paris tonight when he was informed former President Ronald Reagan had died. In his first comments, President Bush called President Reagan's death, and I quote, "a sad day for America." Ronald Reagan's life and career spanned one of the most dramatic and tumultuous periods of U.S. history. It took Mr. Reagan from a humble birth in the small heartland town of Tampico, Illinois in 1911, all the way to the political summit with his victory over incumbent President Jimmy Carter in 1980. For Ronald Reagan, the presidency was the peak of a long life in the public eye. The oldest man ever elected to the White House, he was re-elected in 1984 with the greatest landslide in American history. People believed in his dream of restoring America's strength and pride in a time of doubt, and he had success.
Every promise, every opportunity is still golden in this land.
It's morning again in America. And under the leadership of President Reagan, our country is prouder and stronger and better.
The presidency was the role of a lifetime, but it was only one of many he played. They all had one thing in common. Ronald Reagan was all-American. He was a handsome lifeguard as a teenager in Illinois. After college, he became a radio sportscaster, known as Dutch Reagan.
Boys, this is Mr. George Gipp.
But his dream was to be a Hollywood actor, a star. He passed a screen test in 1937 and became a star in the role of George Gipp, the Gipper, in Newt Rockne. Ronald Reagan's first brush with politics came as president of the Screen Actors Guild. The hot issue was alleged communism in the film industry. Reagan took a moderate line before the investigating House Committee on Un-American Activities. In the mid to late 1950s, his politics began moving to the right. Later, as a spokesman for one of the country's biggest corporations, General Electric, he toured the country speaking on the evils of big government and high taxes. During this time, he divorced one Hollywood actress, Jane Wyman, and married another, Nancy Davis, who became his close advisor and most ardent political supporter. Reagan emerged as the hope of self-described conservatives all over America. First, he ran for governor of California and won big. After 2 terms as California governor, he took his first serious shot at the presidency in 1976, falling just a few votes short of possibly taking the nomination away from President Gerald Ford. 4 years later, he swept the Republican primaries and the convention.
CBS News special report, the presidential debate.
Then he dueled successfully in debate with Democratic President Jimmy Carter. And on Election Day, he beat Carter at the polls.
At will to the best of my ability.
Reagan's inauguration was a watershed for America.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
As he took the oath, a suddenly and only briefly cooperative Iran released 52 American hostages Iran had held for more than a year. His first order of business is what he saw as a revolution in the American economy.
I shall ask for a 10% reduction across the board in personal income tax rates for each of the next 3 years.
But barely 2 months into his first term, Reagan was shot by would-be assassin John Hinckley. Only a quick dash to the hospital saved his life. Just 4 weeks later,
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
He addressed Congress. He was more popular than ever, and what became known as the Reagan Revolution was underway. President Reagan nominated the first woman to the United States Supreme Court. He dealt a devastating blow to union labor when he broke the air controllers' strike by setting a deadline, then firing them all. To the dismay of the Soviets and many who described themselves as peace lovers in America, Reagan proposed his Star Wars scheme, a multi-billion-dollar effort which he called a defensive shield against nuclear weapons in space. It wasn't until his second term that he met with the Soviet leader, but in 1985 he and Mikhail Gorbachev began a partnership that culminated in the first arms treaty to actually reduce the number of nuclear weapons.
I never took a penny that didn't belong to me.
Later, he was embarrassed by a national security aide, Oliver North and others, who admitted secretly trading arms to Iran, diverting the proceeds via Swiss banks to Nicaraguan Contras, and lying to Congress to cover it all up. Investigators said President Reagan approved at least some of these secret dealings, but he pleaded ignorance.
I did not know what had happened or whether there had been a diversion or any money to divert.
What became known as the Iran-Contra scandal tarnished his second term, but did not destroy his popularity. Ronald Reagan left office with the economy booming. A recession was right around the corner, but as he left, the economy was up, the deficit was soaring, and his public approval rating was higher than any other modern president. In 1994, he revealed he was suffering from Alzheimer's disease. He wrote a farewell letter to the American people saying, "I now begin the journey that will take me into the sunset of my life. I know that for America, there will always be a bright dawn ahead."
CBS will have more on the life and times of former President Ronald Reagan later in this broadcast, and please note, in a special tribute to Ronald Reagan later this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Up next, John Robertson Normandy with the Heroes of D-Day.
If a relaxing moment turns into the right moment, will you be ready? Get to know Cialis, the first tablet for erectile dysfunction that gives you up to 36 hours to choose the moment that's right for you and your partner. Cialis goes to work fast and can work for up to 36 hours. Cialis is not for everyone. If you take nitrates for chest pain or certain alpha blockers for prostate problems or high blood pressure, do not take Cialis. Such combinations could cause a sudden unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. The most common side effects were headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. Erections lasting longer than 4 hours, though rare, require immediate medical help. Discuss your health status with your doctor to ensure Cialis is right for you and you are healthy enough for sexual activity. Ask your doctor if a free sample of prescription Cialis is right for you. 36-hour Cialis. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
There's something great going around. Something so delicious, people can't get enough of it. It's these reclosable bottles of Ensure. They're great tasting and go anywhere and everywhere you do to give you a good source of complete balanced nutrition to help you stay healthy. Enjoy Ensure as a snack or occasional meal in 5 creamy, rich flavors. Ensure. in reclosable bottles. Drink to your health wherever you go.
Jay Bush and Duke here to introduce Bush's Baked Beans in our new microwavable cup. Now you can enjoy our delicious beans anywhere there's a microwave. Roll that beautiful bean footage. They're slow cooked according to a secret family recipe with specially cured bacon, brown sugar, and a delicate blend of spices. I've only shared Bush's secret family recipe with Duke, and he's not talking. Boy, these people sure are friendly.
Yeah, friendly.
Enjoy Bush's Baked Beans, now in our new microwavable cup.
When you get nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, even diarrhea. Hey, there's Pepto-Bismol. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Yay, Pepto-Bismol!
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Yay, Pepto-Bismol!
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Yay, Pepto-Bismol!
Now you know, Pepto treats 5 different stomach problems. You see, pink does more than you think.
Good news for those with Medicare. You can get savings on prescriptions. And now, millions of lower-income people may qualify for an additional $600 credit. Only with a Medicare-approved drug discount card. Call 1-800-MEDICARE now for more information on how to save. Because you either have the power to save, or you don't.
Tiger Woods shoots for his 4th win at the Memorial Tournament presented by Morgan Stanley as play continues tomorrow on CBS.
Good evening from the American Cemetery in Normandy, where old comrades in arms and world leaders alike will gather for tomorrow's 60th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. President Bush arrived in Paris earlier today for talks with French President Jacques Chirac. The two leaders played down their differences over Iraq, though Chirac described the situation there as precarious. They did say, however, that they hope to soon reach agreement on a new UN resolution on Iraq's future. Here in Normandy, the split between the U.S. and France is being overshadowed by memories of a shared battle waged 6 decades ago. And evidence of that can be found everywhere you look.
The skies lit up over the beaches of Normandy tonight, heralding an invasion of a different kind. Part celebration, part somber ceremony, as thousands from across Europe and America gathered for the 60th anniversary of D-Day. It was a day for a new generation to actually touch history, to bring a piece of it home, and try to grasp what happened here.
I'm thinking about the men who died here were the age of the students that I'm with, and I can't imagine how scared, they must have been.
While D-Day is mostly about the beaches, there were other operations equally important. The airborne assault into nearby Sainte-Mère-Église, reenacted today by American and French paratroopers. But the center of gravity of the observances is the American Cemetery overlooking Omaha Beach. It is here that old soldiers come to swap stories or say goodbye to old friends.
I've just been up to the cemetery to a friend of mine named Boris Sullivan. Sailors been known to drink a little beer, or frothing slosh as we called it, and I put some traveling money down beside his cross just in case that he didn't have. He was underfunded on Resurrection Day.
The power of this place, the significance of the moment, is lost on no one. For those who walk among the crosses once or come back decade after decade.
If I have to come back in a wheelchair, I'll come back.
You'd like to see it at 88, would you?
I really would. That would be very interesting. 9 chances out of 10, I won't make it, but I sure hope I do.
Thank you. Even the youngest veterans of D-Day are now in their late 70s or early 80s. For many of them, this will be the last major anniversary they see. We'll be back from Normandy with the story of a daughter's search for her father, lost to history on D-Day.
Can't sleep? Why take a PM with an extra medicine if you don't have a backache or headache? Unisom Sleep Gels has the same amount of the same ingredient to help you fall asleep with no extra medicine. Unisom, it's all you need.
Today we're so busy, even our stomachs multitask.
Introducing Rolade's Multi-Symptom. It relieves heartburn, acid indigestion, and unlike Tums, gas.
Yeah, multitasking, multi-symptom. New Rolade's Multi-Symptom. Fast relief for the way we live.
There are two ways to kill weeds. New Ortho Season-Long Grass and Weed Killer or the leading brand. Both kill existing weeds, but only Season-Long forms a protective barrier to prevent new weeds, all season guaranteed. So you won't have to spray month after month after month. The choice is yours. Kill weeds for the season or spend the season killing weeds. New Ortho Season-Long Grass and Weed Killer. All weeds, all gone, all season.
A different generation needs a different kind of denture adhesive. C-Bond is a thin wafer made from soft microfibers for comfort and 3 adhesives for all-day hold. No ooze or pasty mess. And a kind of hold and comfort you have to feel to believe.
Just ain't the way they used to be, no.
C-Bond, a different generation. Dentures dingy? Get a bright, white smile with C-Bond Brightening Gel.
A heart attack can strike without warning, and doctors know 81 milligrams of aspirin is not enough to save your life during a heart attack. So you should always have genuine Bayer at hand. It has enough aspirin to help save your life. The more you know, the more you trust Bayer.
Wherever life takes you, the world's largest hotel chain is there. With 16 standard services and amenities at all hotels in North America, Best Western gives you value, convenience, and a good night's sleep. Because wherever life takes you, Best Western is there. With over 4,000 unique locations worldwide. Visit bestwestern.com or call 1-800-WESTERN. Now through July 15th, stay at any 2 Best Westerns, pay with your MasterCard, and get a free night. Visit bestwestern.com for details.
Grandpa, how come you're always chugging Metamucil?
So it won't get thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug.
I found an easier way to take fiber. Beta-Fiber. It never gets thick like Metamucil can. It's taste-free, too.
Smart mommy.
Beta-Fiber. The choice is clear.
One night only.
Live from Radio City Music Hall, the 2004 Tony Awards, hosted by Hugh Jackman. This Sunday.
Be there.
CBS.
In the beach landings and other battles, as many as 6,500 Americans died in Normandy on D-Day. Many were survived by children who grew up knowing very little about their fathers. But now, after more than a decade of work, one West Virginia woman is finally starting to put a face on the father she never knew. That's tonight's Weekend Journal, a daughter's search for a father lost on D-Day.
I guess I've always known that I'm fairly tenacious.
Donna Allen is searching for a man she never knew. Her father was just 17 years old when he jumped into Normandy with the 101st Airborne Division on D-Day.
You feel like there's something missing, that there's just a piece of you that's not there.
Donna's parents were never married. In fact, when her teenage mother became pregnant, Donna's father was ordered to keep away. All the little girl ever learned about Private Roy Tallhelm was that he was killed in the Great Invasion.
Ever since she's been 10 years old, she's been asking me questions.
Donna's curiosity only grew when the first major discovery was a class photo.
Until my 48th birthday, I had never seen a picture of him. And after I found that, I just felt, well, there's got to be one more picture someplace of him in his uniform.
The search soon began taking twists.
Right.
She sought out a high school acquaintance named Dickie, who once served with the 101st Airborne and loved digging into the unit's history. He instantly recognized the odds were against them.
I saw a problem. I saw a big problem.
And there's Jake.
They followed leads to frustrating dead end after dead end. But one day, the duo got lucky. A tip that directed them to a woman who once knew Roy Tallhelm's family.
I told her who I was and that I was looking for information about my father. In 2 seconds, she said, I have a picture of him in his uniform in my trunk. I called Dickie, and I said, I've got the picture. And, that was just something. I think he was as emotional as I was about it.
The momentum swept up even Donna's mother. After years of silence, she agreed to write down memories that had long been kept buried.
I met Roy at the Henry's Theater where he was an usher. Later he said, can I walk you home? I said, I think so.
Then I felt good about going ahead and pursuing what I felt I needed to do.
The next step was a journey to Normandy, where Donna found her father's grave and some old soldiers who knew him. One, James Martin of Ohio, became a close friend. On Donna's wedding day, Martin gave away the bride. The groom was Dickie.
If somebody had told me the things that were going to happen to me in the next 10 years, I'd have laughed and said, oh, you got to be kidding me.
While Donna has filled in much of the story of her father's life, even uncovering film of the makeshift hospital where he died, still missing are the details of Private Tallhelm's final moments.
And that's one of the things I said. I'd like to think that he thought about me.
This week, Donna Allen visited her father's grave.
It's just incredible to be here.
She was eager to check on the childhood photo she buried there.
We found the picture, but it has disintegrated, and there's not much left of it.
Although time has worn the picture away, Donna won't let 60 years stand between her and her father. She is still holding on to the hope that she'll find someone who fought with him, someone who can fill in the final blank.
I just feel like there's still somebody out there who can put the pieces to this puzzle together for me before it is too late.
Donna is just one of nearly 200,000 children left fatherless by World War II. And that's it tonight from Normandy. Dan Rather will be back in just a moment with more on the death of President Ronald Reagan.
Hey guys, look!
Heartburn on rye.
We're working through lunch. Wait, that's more than heartburn.
You're right. That pressure and bloating is gas.
And we don't treat gas. Not even me.
I do. This is a job for
Maalox Max.
fast heartburn plus gas relief in a soothing liquid. That's Maalox Max.
Max, glad you're working the lunch shift.
I work anytime. Maalox Max. When you have it all, treat it all.
We changed to a low-carb lifestyle.
And to a multivitamin made for it.
New One-A-Day Carb Smart, a complete multivitamin with more biotin to help break down the extra fats and proteins you're eating.
It just seemed smart.
One-A-Day Carb Smart.
My dream was to own a child care center. With some hard work and good financial advice, not just open my third.
Financial services from Mutual of Omaha.
Our children are our future. They just don't know it yet.
Begin today.
It's a beautiful morning.
I was never one to sleep in, which is good because being a teacher, you never really get to. After all these years, I have to say I still look forward to going to school. And I'm pretty sure the kids do too.
Ask your doctor today about Vioxx and find out what Vioxx can do for you.
My doctor prescribed Vioxx and I stayed with it.
Vioxx.
Millions of us are hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS. The cause? For most, it was blood platelets that formed clots, which blocked blood from getting to the heart. Think aspirin and other heart medications alone are enough? Plavix could help make a difference. So ask your doctor about adding Plavix. Taken with aspirin and your current treatment, Plavix goes beyond what you're taking to help raise protection against heart attack or stroke. Plavix and your other medications work in different ways. Plavix taken with aspirin plays its own role in keeping blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, which helps keep blood flowing.
If you have a medical condition that causes bleeding, such as a stomach ulcer, you shouldn't use Plavix. The risk of bleeding may increase with Plavix and when you take Plavix with certain other medicines, including aspirin. Review your medicines with your doctor to minimize this risk. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Add more protection against heart attack or stroke with Plavix.
Temper tantrums. They're every parent's nightmare, but he's found a new way to calm your toddler. Interested? Eye on America, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
In horse racing, again, no Triple Crown. Smarty Jones was beaten at the wire in a great stretch run by Birdstone in the Belmont Stakes. That's the third horse in a row to win the first two legs, has lost the third leg of the Triple Crown. The last Triple Crown winner was 26 years ago. Smarty Jones loses, Birdstone wins. Finally tonight, when many Americans look back at the life of Ronald Reagan, they don't just remember the accomplishments of his 2 terms as president, they also remember his leading roles on the silver screen. John Blackstone now with an appreciation of Ronald Reagan, actor.
Good evening, everybody. This is Andy McCain with some hot news right off the griddle.
Ronald Reagan wasn't headed for Hollywood when he headed west in 1937, and it wasn't for the movies, it was for radio.
Here are the Chicago Cubs and Avalon.
Sent by his Iowa radio station to cover the Chicago Cubs spring training on Catalina Island. But a friend introduced him to an agent who got him a screen test, which won him a meeting at Warner Brothers with Jack Warner himself.
What was it, Mr. Warner, that caught your eye when you looked at that first test of Reagan?
Well, he had his personality projected in what we, as I term it, off the screen into the audience. It comes through. He had a good smile, happy delivery.
Hello, Holly. Want to hear some good news?
That film persona, the good-looking, all-American, easygoing guy, fit him like a glove. And he fit right in at the film factory, eventually churning out more than 50 pictures, 8 in 1938 alone.
Then where are we, my friend?
High and dry. That's the last drink.
Reagan called himself the Errol Flynn of the B movies. But the truth is, he mostly didn't get the girl.
Yeah, it's Judy. You know, Doc, I've loved her for a long time, but I can't help her now because, well, you're the one man, so be nice to her, will you?
But he did get a wife.
Just something I forgot to do in the rose garden.
His first, Jane Wyman. And he did play bit parts in A movies with the biggest stars of the day, movie after movie, year after year. Regarded not as a star, but steady. His career got a big boost from a supporting role. Football legend George Gipp in Newt Rockney, All-American.
Rock. Someday when the team's up against it, breaks are beating the boys, ask them to go in there with all they've got. Win just one for the Gipper.
But there were always movies. Even as president, he watched hundreds of movies, mostly at Camp David, over big bowls of popcorn. And if too many people wondered if an actor could or should be president, Reagan didn't. The acting was just part of the picture. At his museum in Southern California, the Hollywood years are relegated to just one wall, because for most actors, Hollywood is a pinnacle. For Ronald Reagan, it was a prelude. John Blackstone, CBS News, Hollywood.
As president, Ronald Reagan tried so often to remind us that from we the people, not need it be said the government, would come the solutions to our greatest problems. He asked a nation to find within itself the greatness that he considered its birthright, and he sought to make us equal to the task by reminding us of our collective heritage. Reagan was the great communicator, yes, but he was also a master at communicating greatness. He understood that, as he once put it, history is a ribbon always unfurling, and managed to convey his vision in terms both simple and poetic. And so he was able to act as a conduit to connect us to who we had been and who we could be. That's part of our world tonight. CBS will be back later tonight with a special broadcast on the life and death of former President Ronald Reagan. That special broadcast begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central. Until that special broadcast, Dan Rather, CBS News in New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on cbsnews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart, bringing your community jobs, low prices, and support for neighborhood programs. Experience CBS News.
Gigantic cable company, what do you want? Oh, you've got basic cable, now you want digital cable? No problem, sir. Your monthly cable bill will go up $25, $50 for the installation, $10 for the digital cable box, $2 for the remote, service charges, more fees. Yep, these are hidden fees and more fees.
Why pay more to your cable company? Switch to Dish Network Satellite TV and get America's top 60 all-digital channels, including your local channels, for under $1 a day.
And you know this price is only good for 3 months. You've got to read the fine print, sir.
At Dish Network, the home of the lowest all-digital price in America every day, get satellite TV in the whole house with free standard professional installation in up to 4 rooms.
Let's get you on a contract. Oh, The price just went up. I know money doesn't grow on trees, but neither does my commission, sir.
Call now and get America's top 60 all-digital channels, including your local channels, for under $1 a day. Switch to Dish Network Satellite TV and stop feeding the pig.
Thanks again for making News Channel 5 the most watched television station in Nashville.